Hey guys, welcome back to Through the Screen. I'm Emily.
I'm Charlotte.
I'm Brittany.
We hope you've been enjoying our episodes so far and liking, commenting, and sharing with your friends. If you missed any of them, head on over to our channel and watch, and if you're not already, be sure to subscribe while you're there. This week, we will be discussing a brand new issue that you should all be aware of, so we hope you'll follow us once again as we join together via Skype to bring you conversations through the screen.
This episode, we will be discussing what you can do to stop the approved commercial shark fishing in Florida next year. We will also be bringing you updates from Taiji, a heartwarming story about a hammerhead shark, sharing some great vegan breakfast ideas, and finally ending with another documentary review of Cowspiracy. First up, the Florida shark fishing.
So for our topic this week, we wanted to discuss a really important issue that we just recently learned about and were absolutely disgusted by. So if you hang around and listen to what's going on, we'll let you know how you can help stop it.
So recently in Florida, it has been put into law that starting January 1st, 3 species of sharks that currently you are not allowed to fish, you are going to be allowed to fish. And boats are going to be allowed to kill 36 per day starting January 1st. And the 3 species that this is going to affect are hammerhead sharks, tiger sharks, and lemon sharks. Which after I first learned about it, I was like, I wanted to kind of like dig a little deeper and find out, why they would be doing this. And I never actually found a reason. I was thinking that maybe it's because of their shark attacks or whatever. So I don't really know the specific reason of why they are suddenly letting this happen, but what I do know is all 3 of these species of sharks are considered endangered. Hammerhead sharks are endangered with possibly 80% of their population gone. Tiger sharks are endangered and have been a protected species since 2006. And lemon sharks are also an endangered species that they're kind of rare to see anyway. So the fact that now the fishermen are allowed to actually kill these sharks and bring them on the boat and take them up and do whatever with them, I don't really know what they're doing other than taking their fins and having trophies, because I don't really no one eats shark in America that I know of other than in fin soup. So it's just really disgusting.
I think for the main reason, like Brittany said, it's a lot of it has to do with sharks coming ashore and attacking people, and I think that maybe people don't understand the full scope of what is going on in the oceans exactly, and what is going on with these animals. We see sharks as a threat because that's how we were raised to see them. Literally, humans are raised to think of sharks as predators, as something bad, as something evil that will, Jaws, for example, things like that. And it's not always necessarily true. You're invading their space, their privacy, their home, so therefore they're just doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing what comes instinctively to them. And a lot of it also has to do with the fact that we've killed off their food supplies. They no longer have food supplies out in the ocean, so that they are now coming ashore to find food, such as seals and things like that come ashore anyway, just as part of their natural habitats, is how they live their lives. So it's all just very combined into this whole big demographic of us killing animals in the oceans that we don't see every day, daily. We don't see the impacts of what's happening to these animals. We just hear statistics. And for humans, we need to see the impact. We need to literally be able to say, okay, this is definitely happening, for people to take notice and take effect and to actually care. And that's part of the problem, I think.
Right, and their solution to this is just completely wrong, because they don't even understand the problem. The problem is climate change. That's why all this is happening. The problem is humans. and we just kill whatever we're afraid of, and that's why it's going on. So it's just really disgusting, and people need to get down to the actual root of the problem and stop trying to rely on their fear to control them, to kill off all of these species of sharks.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's so incredibly sad because last week we just watched Racing Extinction, and they said that, 90% of the shark population has, been threatened. And here we are going to kill off more of the species. And it reminds me of, the bear hunts in Florida, the shark culling in Australia. I mean, all of these really unnecessary, really disgusting practices, and I just don't understand why. I mean, why we do things out of fear without understanding what they could do to the world. I mean, sharks are an integral part of the ocean, and a lot of people don't understand that. But, obviously this is a completely ridiculous ruling, and after learning how threatened sharks have become watching Racing Extinction and, through everything that we've researched, we wanted to let you guys know how you can help stop this. So we will link a petition down below, as well as where you can write to urge government to reverse the ruling. The one email we would most like to share, and we're going to put it here on the screen, is guy.dubeck@noaa.gov. And NOAA, of course, is the federal agency that is allowing this to happen. So we urge you to write to them or to write to the Florida government, and we will put all of that information down below as well. Obviously, if you live in Florida, you can attend a protest, but since most of you likely don't, we recommend that you share the petition and the email over social media with your friends and followers and get the information out there, because our planet simply can't afford more of these approved fishings to continue.
This week in Taiji, we are fortunate enough to have all Blue Cove days. As always, we link the live streams from Cove Guardians and the Dolphin Project down below. Obviously, the hunters are anxious to find whatever they can after this 12-day Blue Cove streak, so be sure to check those out. We'd also like to encourage you to consider donating to either of these organizations during the holiday season.
This week's heartwarming story is a tale of two brothers who were in Destin, Florida, and came upon a hammerhead shark that was in distress. They helped pull the shark up to shore and saw that he had some deep fishing hooks stuck in him, and it was injuring him. He wasn't out swimming where he should be. So they got the hooks out and helped safely guide him out to deeper waters while a whole crowd of people cheered for them. There's an entire video of the whole thing happening, and we're going to link that down below, but you should definitely give it a watch.
So last week we brought you some vegan snacks you may not have been aware of, and so this week we decided to do the same thing with the most important meal of the day, breakfast. Each of these items are really easy, and we think you'll enjoy them as the perfect way to start your morning or afternoon. We don't judge.
So for most people, personally, the easiest and most simplest option to do in the morning is to make a smoothie. It's easy to make. It's easy to consume on the go, and especially in this day and age where everybody's always going. It's something that's fast and simple, and they can do before they're headed out the door to work. And you can include a variety of anything: fruits, vegetables, ingredients, anything like that. Kale, for example, is something that is used a lot in smoothies nowadays. So I encourage anybody to, go and try any type of smoothie, any type of variation with any type of fruit that you may like. And also to add vegan protein powder to ensure that, you're getting everything that you need to start your day in the morning. And just make sure it's vegan, otherwise you will be consuming, say, animal bones and things like that you may not otherwise be aware of that is in protein powder. So, again, I encourage anybody to try any type of smoothie and enjoy your day.
So I was really excited to find out that some of my favorite cereals are vegan. So if you want to start your day with a little bit of sugar, Fruity Pebbles, Reese's Puffs, actually a little bit surprising, Captain Crunch, Rice Krispies, and Special K Red Berries are all vegan, so you can enjoy them with almond milk or even chocolate almond milk for the Reese's Puffs. It would be a nice little combination. But yeah, if you want another simple breakfast item, any of these cereals would be awesome.
So for those of you who want a more traditional breakfast, you can have like any kind of vegan toast. So like Kroger brand bread is vegan. So Kroger brand bread with some Earth Balance buttery spread and cinnamon, or with a fruit spread of your choice, is something that I opt for often. Amy's brand, which is one of my favorite brands of food. They have all kinds of convenient options. They have a veggie sausage that you can eat for breakfast, which is super, super good. And you can pair that with any kind of the egg substitute products that they have out there. I know that I personally haven't actually tried any of them, but it's kind of on my to-do list now. But they have several brands of egg-like products that you could scramble up and, add veggies in, or make an omelet or anything like that, and then just pair it with your good old orange juice or almond milk or coffee with any kind of coconut or soy or almond milk creamers in them.
So if you guys try any of these, let us know, or let us know any of your favorite vegan breakfast items or snack items or whatever. We'd love to hear from you guys.
This week's entertainment is on the documentary entitled Cowspiracy. It follows one guy's quest to uncover the truth about the animal agriculture in America. Executive produced by Leonardo DiCaprio and written and directed by Kip Anderson and Keegan Khan. It was released on June 26, 2014, and is available to watch on Netflix. So what did we think of this life-changing documentary?
I was rather shocked by how it impacted me. As someone who already, we're researching this kind of thing all the time. I mean, for the past, I think this is like our 19th week, we have hardcore been researching this kind of thing. So, I was crying throughout the documentary. I mean, giant, kind of things. And, and it kind of made me mad, too. It made me mad.
Yeah. I avoided watching it for a really long time because I had this idea that it would be very graphic factory farming, like the PETA kind of videos. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, obviously it's something a lot of people need to know about. I just didn't know if I could handle it. But it's nothing like that at all. There are very few graphic elements to it. It's a lot of facts. And I think it's definitely something that everyone should watch. It was really life-changing for me. I mean, I already knew the basics of a lot of this, but some of the facts were just crazy. For instance, it takes 2,500 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef, and that one hamburger is the equivalent of 2 months of showering. So with this huge drought that we have in California, it's crazy that this isn't a bigger issue. And one of the things I thought was interesting was when he went to the California Department of Water Resources, which is where my dad works, and I actually interned there for a summer, so I know the woman who made the Save Our Water logo, and I thought it was crazy that he went there and and showed that they know nothing about, the animal agriculture business and how impactful it is, on our water and on our environment. And, the facts were just crazy.
And it makes me mad, though, that they don't know that. I mean, because one of the facts that I found the most staggering that I'd actually never heard before was that domestic water use is 5% of water consumption, where animal agriculture is 55% of all water consumption. And they're telling you to shower less and the waiters at restaurants don't leave water out and don't water your lawn or whatever. And it's a load of crap because it's 5%. So even if you did all of like the things recommended, you're not saving anything. Doing all of the government recommendations for saving water saves 47 gallons a day. Big whoop-de-doo when eating a hamburger not eating a hamburger would save 660 gallons a day. Like that is staggering. That is staggering, because if you eat 3 hamburgers in one day, I mean, look at the difference. Mm-hmm. It's insane that this is not being brought up on a government level.
It's also kind of shocking that it's not being brought more up in doctors' offices with all the obesity rates that are going on nowadays. I mean, I would assume that that much water consumption is definitely applying to the obese rate in this country. Because, I mean, we're not supposed to consume that much water in one thing. I mean, that's a staggering amount of water. 660 gallons in one hamburger.
Well, that's the amount of water that's used to produce it. Like that, they're saying that much water is used for the cow.
It's still contained, like, in the meat itself. You know what I mean? The water is still being contained in the meat itself.
It's just like
whatever the cow eats, it's going into their body, therefore it's going into your body after you eat the cow, you know what I mean?
Well, and that's another thing I found shocking, is that they're saying that most of the antibiotics found in meat is also is in healthy cattle.
Yeah, I mean, the water thing itself is incredibly shocking, but then on top of that, one of the things that I also found crazy was that the meat and dairy industry produces more global greenhouse emissions than all forms of transportation combined.
And going back to the water, statistics that I'd also never heard before were that it takes 477 gallons for an egg and 900 gallons. They didn't say specifically, but I'm assuming it means for a pound of cheese, 900 gallons of water, which was really shocking to me, because I think, like, going back to all of it, like, I feel like dairy gets, like, the down low part of it. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, don't eat meat, be vegetarian. But, like, veganism is such a really hard thing for anyone to wrap their mind around. But it's just as important, because look at that, 900 gallons for cheese.
Yeah, I mean, because I've been trying to, like, make choices to stop consuming dairy, and people are like, man, I mean, I understand meat, but, like, why dairy? And I've been trying to explain the cruelty part of it, but I mean, it's good that now I have actual hard statistics to give them as well, that this is poisoning our planet. You know, so, and it's consuming all of our water that we feel we can save by taking shorter showers or watering less, you know. So I mean, I think it's crazy. And, like, this other part that I thought was crazy was, I mean, at the very beginning they give the quote by Martin Luther King, in the end we will remember not the words of our enemies but the silence of our friends. And Kip was talking about how he would go to these organizations that he supported for so long, and they wouldn't help him. They would just meet him with silence. And he was talking about how they're, first and foremost, they're a business. And I thought that was so sad that, you know, some of these organizations that we think are saving the planet are doing things for business that are harming our planet, you know? So I think that's part's just really sad. But one thing I do love is that they featured Sea Shepherd. I was really happy with that they interviewed some Sea Shepherd people.
It just makes me happy, because that's one of the organizations, especially the three of us, like, we feature Sea Shepherd every single week. And, like, to see that they are actually the good guys. They are actually practicing what they preach and going out there and, like, speaking out and not being afraid of all of this stuff to be afraid of, because there's stuff to be afraid of as an activist. I mean, honestly, like, with the laws that they were talking about in the show, the three of us could get in trouble. I mean, we could be in trouble and be persecuted for speaking out and saying that, you know, meat is harming the planet, and, you know, meat does this and meat does that, because apparently it's illegal, which is absurd, because it's hurting people, and we're not allowed to say that. I don't understand that at all. I don't understand that, like, even a little bit.
It reminds me a lot of, like, you know, just the past, some of the things that have happened in the past with, like, human history in and of itself. Like, you know, people see certain things and they just don't say anything, and, you know, it gets to be a point where, you know, those people that are being pushed down and pushed down, they finally rebel because they're just so sick of being pushed down that they don't see any other option but to rebel. And, you know, we see it on the news and we're like, you know, why are these people doing this? You know, we don't understand. You know, you realize you're burning down your neighborhood. You know, you're destroying your businesses. You're destroying this. You're destroying that. And, I mean, it genuinely comes down to a point where these people feel like they're being ignored, that their voices are not being heard. And that's basically what's starting to happen with some of these animals, like sharks, for example. They're losing their food, so therefore they're coming on shores to find food, and they're getting killed because they're coming on shores and attacking people. And it's like, you don't understand. Like, it's all part of the same problem. It's all globally connected into this one, you know, thing that is animal agriculture, that is people eating meat, that is being basically taking over our planet. I mean, it's crazy to think about the amount of land that it takes to literally feed every single person in this country.
Oh, yeah.
45% of the world's land goes
literally, that's
land
almost
use.
half of our land is being set aside to feed ourselves, to feed us, basically. And that land is now being destroyed by these animals because these animals are creating, you know, all these types of other problems to the environment and to the water supplies that surround these factory farms. And now, you know, it's just become a global national problem, whereas it's not just, you know, one country's problem. It's literally everybody's problem.
And something that I find interesting, which is actually going to change how I approach things anyways, is a feature of a family farm, like that all the cows are grass-fed, and that's something just push and push and push. It's pushed in my own town because we have a farm that is pushing grass-fed beef and everything, and it is completely unsustainable. For everyone in the United States, who eat meat to have grass-fed beef, we would have to use all of the land in the United States and Central America, part of South America, all of Canada, like just to raise the cows. And that's everything. That includes like the waters and the mountains and everything. So it's not even possible. We would have no people, no houses, no nothing. Just it's not even possible, people.
Yeah, and speaking of, you know, the taking of land, I mean, this entire documentary, it's kind of ironic that we just watched Racing Extinction last week because it's so similar, even though it focuses on one particular aspect of what Racing Extinction talked about. It's so similar, and they talk about how we are in this point of mass extinction. And, you know, people are talking about how sad it is that all of these species are gone. It's because you're stealing their land for animal agriculture. And you're destroying all of these species, all of these populations. And animal agriculture is a huge part of that. So, I mean, everything is connected. Racing Extinction, Cowspiracy, you know, all of these things that we've been talking about, it's all connected, and it's all just really, really sad.
The rainforest is being taken out 1 acre per second, which is a staggering number, and that's either being used to raise livestock or for farming, for growing the food to feed the livestock. Mm. So I just think that people just don't realize all the aspects of it. But another thing that I found really disgusting is that the animal waste that is kind of produced, which the waste is producing methane, which is destroying the planet. But there's 116,000 pounds of animal waste per second in the United States alone. It's disgusting. So there's enough per year to cover San Francisco, New York City, Paris, Tokyo, New Delhi, Berlin, Hong Kong, London, Rio de Janeiro, Delaware, Bali, Costa Rica, and Denmark. That's disgusting. You know how much crap that is? Literal crap.
Like, we can laugh about it, but it really is just disgusting.
It really is. Disgusting. And the effects that it's having, too. I mean, it's crazy.
And it's just, you know, just a really sad thing. And it's kind of crazy because palm oil is, like, a really big discussion lately. I know I've kind of been looking at it because it's in so many things that I eat. Mm-hmm. But it's responsible for 26 million of acres of rainforest being taken down, where agriculture is 136 million. So here it is again. The numbers are so different, But yet palm oil is being talked about. Agriculture, not at all. And when it is, there's people dying and getting executed because they're speaking out against it, or being, put through the legal system and having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on legal fees to keep themselves from getting a guilty verdict. So just for speaking out and telling people truth. This is all fact, people. This is not made up. It's not some kind of, crazy tree hugger thing. This is facts.
Yeah. Just one thing I wanted to mention that I found hilarious at the end of the documentary, when I think it was a doctor that was talking about like a vegan diet, and he was saying that milk gives men man boobs. And I just had to laugh about that. But I mean it is true. It's milk and dairy is also making us unhealthy, on top of, the cruelties and all of the emissions and land and everything else. So it's difficult for people to hear this, because a lot of people do not want to adopt a vegan diet. We're not saying that. We're not saying drop everything right now. We're just asking maybe to make like a few changes, one day a week, a meatless Monday and a dairy-free Friday. Just little changes that can help the planet. Like Racing Extinction said, if everybody cut out meat and dairy for one day, it would be like taking 7 million cars off the road. It's just
That's staggering.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crazy because, going back to the land of it all, 15 times the amount of plant protein can be grown on a land for the same as just one thing of like animal protein. So like an area where you can have cows, you can have 15 times the amount of protein coming from plants. So if you think that you don't get protein when you're a vegan, it's just crap, because you get plenty of protein from things that you can grow.
So we definitely think you guys should check out Cowspiracy. It is available on Netflix. You could also probably find it other places as well. We will also link the website to Cowspiracy down below. And just get the facts and be aware, and just, start with one thing, like Racing Extinction said, apply it here. Let us know what your one thing is, and if you've already done some of these things, we want to hear from you guys, and just, be aware of some of these things.
And remember, violence is taught. When you're little, there's a scene where a bird is executed, and the guy said the first couple of times it bothered me, but then it didn't. So violence is taught. This is not something that we're ingrained to, eat meat every meal of every day. So just watch it and just take it to heart and see if you can change that one meal. Start with one meal, and then start with one day a week, and then maybe eventually where meat is a rarity for you. Mm. This week, our song of the week is Wild Thing, and she is an extremely talented singer and songwriter from Canada. Her song Wild Things is upbeat, and I just really love the message of the song. What do you guys think?
I have been obsessed with Alessia Cara for a week or so. I've been listening to her songs nonstop. When I found out that she was only 19, I was blown away, because her voice is so mature, especially on her song Here that's on the radio right now. So I started listening to her songs, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love all these songs. But, I was watching interviews of her and stuff, and I found out that she actually started on YouTube and was messaged by someone from a record company or management on her YouTube video, and they flew her out to New York, and that's how she got started. So it's kind of crazy. But I love her, and I love this song. So
for me, I really like this song. I really like how it says how she says, find me where the wild things are, because, as a kid, that was my favorite book, Where the Wild Things Are. It was, my all-time favorite book, so I guess I, just relate to that fact of it. That line just really stuck out in my head. But, yeah, I like her music. She definitely has, a new sound that she's bringing to the radio, and I always enjoy that because, as people, we all get sick and tired of hearing the same repetitive sounds on the radio over and over again. And so many radio stations do it. It's not just anyone all over the country. So it's always nice when you hear a fresh voice that actually, writes your own music too, which is another thing that's very uncommon nowadays, is a lot of artists buy their music and they don't write it themselves. So it's also interesting to hear it from that point of view.
Yeah, I agree. I think when an artist is a songwriter and writes their own stuff, it like makes me love them anymore because I love music so much. So like when I know that this is super personal, which is one of the reasons why like I love people like Taylor Swift and Sam Hunt, because they write their own music, and like Sam Hunt actually was a songwriter first, and Taylor Swift plans on being a songwriter when she's done like just writing music. So with her being 19 and being such, a passionate songwriter and being so good, and knowing she started on YouTube, I just think that she's a good find. So we're going to link all the stuff down below, but you should definitely listen to her this song and her whole album, and just, tell us what you think.
Okay, guys, that's our show. We hope you've enjoyed this installment of Through the Screen. If you did, be sure to like down below and also subscribe to the channel. We also appreciate any feedback you may have. We post new videos every week, and we'd love for you all to join us and tell your friends. Next week, we'll be discussing a brand new topic, so you won't want to miss it. Until then, thanks for watching, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. Bye!